Nigeria Info. All right, good morning to you. 6:30 is what the time is. My name is Ifeyemi Andrew, and we quickly now look at some of the headlines, and we start with what we have on the Punch newspaper. For those who perhaps missed any of the headlines from the news, I'll just run through some of them. Rishek defends new local government election schedule, saying it's a continuation of old schedule and not a fresh one. Rumored pre-election selection of candidates for Rivers Council polls has stirred concerns. Nurses at UPTH join strike on the foreign scene. Of course, that's something you must have heard. Canada joins France and UK planning to recognize Palestinian state. So those are some of the headlines that came in from the news. However, on the Punch newspaper, we have this one that would definitely catch your interest. The lead headline here says ADC, federal government eyes 796 billion naira annually from 5% petrol surcharge. Varsity students to face drug tests, says education minister. Right, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. It shouldn't end with the students. Do also the staff. The workers should also face the same test. ADC clears Obi El-Rufai to remain in Labour Party SDP. Federal government attracts $440 million CNG investment in 2 months. Report. Labour Party factions clash over rumoured attempts to overthrow Tinubu's government. Port Harcourt refinery not for sale. NNPC. Many of us, you say that I'm a prophet of doom. Not that I was. If you just look at the indices and you look at the Nigerian politics and everything, you know that some things cannot work. I kept saying that our refinery, let me not be the one that say it does not work. And they say, oh, since they have done, what was that celebration that they did ribbon cutting for? Structural something that they did. And spent more money and then they were not doing the road. Everybody was asking. The next thing that came is about privatization. Now they are saying it's not for sale. All right. Let's wait and see what happens in the future. UTME fraud. JAM prosecutes 110 in 5 years. All of those headlines are on the Punch newspaper. So if you want to find out details, just go over to the Punch and read up. Economic reforms slashed North debt by 42%. Federal government. Economic reforms slashed North's debt by 42%. Federal government. That's also on the Punch newspaper. And now we quickly drive to the Vanguard. And then on the Vanguard, you find this headline here. Still as it concerns the oil and gas sector. This particular one is the NNPC. Operating Port Harcourt refinery ahead of full turnaround, ill-informed NNPC Limited. Then I said it just felt like they were in a hurry to say that the government is doing something. That was how it felt like. It felt like they were in a hurry to say that the government is doing something. And yeah. Coalition presidency, ex-ADC chairman Bika over alleged ministerial bribe. Yeah, he said he didn't want to mention names of people who were offering ministerial slots just so that he doesn't support the coalition. I was watching that. Alleged $1.4 million fraud. Court refuses Ajudua fresh bill application. Anambra Showdown 2025. Candidates take battle to grassroots. And cholera still endemic in Nigeria. UNICEF. Well, they're not far from the truth. All of that are on the Vanguard newspaper. Go on there and get details. You can also join us on Facebook. On Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's the handle. Go on Facebook, search for Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Exactly how I said it. That's how you search. If you search it right, you would see the Nigeria Info logo, right? Green and yellow with the N and I on it. All right. So you like the page and then you scroll down to the live stream and join the conversation. Now, the advantage of that is you get to watch and listen to us, audio and video. Beyond that, you can react real time. So while we're talking, you can just put your comments real time. You don't have to wait. Like people who are listening on the app or with their phones from earpiece, when they hear before they will go and start typing. You immediately you hear it, you put it up on Facebook, and we look at it. Like Larry Spieth is saying here, federal government should take good care of our health workers to prove that they still care about our health. Dr. Umar says most Nigerians have lost faith in democracy because the expected benefits are mere fantasies, since the people remain the center and circumstance of democracy. Denying them the dividends amounts to catastrophe. Oh, yes, it does. She went on to say, if we can have fear of God, be committed, dedicated, and humble, we cannot continue like this. Yes, we can't. Still on Facebook, Elechi Simon Precious says, good morning. When one of your colleagues came up with the issue of RISEC, I told him that the timetable given by SAC RISEC body is still running. Luckily enough, the newly inaugurated RISEC body said the same thing. Now, this is where let me try and put out what both people think. The argument from here is, this is the argument from the new RISEC constituted and those that are in that part that support that part. That's it. Okay, since the announcement was made by the old people and they are not there, then the new people, there's no need to make, you already know. The only thing we did is to change the date. That's one argument. Now, on the other side, their argument is, if you dissolve the committee and say that whatever they did was illegal, what it basically means is everything that is a product of them has been cancelled. You can't work with it. I'll give an example. So it's almost like the Supreme Court saying that, there was no governance in Rivers State and blah, blah, blah. The governor was suspended, right? What happened? All the people he appointed, even the ones that were constitutionally appointed, including the RISEC people who were screened by the assembly before the whole issue and everything, they were all still dissolved because everybody hinged on a Supreme Court judgment that said a few things. So if that's the case, how come when it now concerns this RISEC, we can dissolve them, but we can work with what they did? I don't know so that's the argument on both sides. Obioma Noble says, can't we stay for 1 month without one sector of this economy going on strike? Obioma Noble, doctors are supposed to go on strike. We have to confirm. Maybe after now, I'll find out from the doctors if they're still, because they had also given the ultimatum. It expired, I think, on Thursday, and they are supposed to be considering strike as well. I spoke to, remember, the NMA here some days back. There is that too. So let's not forget. Fidelis Elemowa, any plan to sell River Port Harcourt Refinery is totally unacceptable. Okay, Thank God Ability says, we don't know which lawyer to believe on released local government election timetable. Each lawyer with his own interpretation. And that's how it usually is now. Can't we? Okay, Obioma Noble, I think we already took that one. So, well, keep your comments coming in on Facebook. So that's it. That's the advantage of it. So get on Facebook now, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's the handle. So go on Facebook, search for it, and drop your comments. Please make sure you keep the comments short. All right, it's a live stream, so you don't want to put out. Blessed Allah says, RISEC must cancel local government election because they didn't follow the electoral law. Ferdinand Onwodu, the former RISEC board was dissolved by the SOLAD. INEC has warned these guys should stop wasting Rivers money on illegality. Why the rush? Anything that comes out from the election will not stand. Ferdinand Onwodu, it will only not stand if somebody takes it to court and the court gives a verdict on it. If the right persons, let me put it that way, it will only not stand if the right persons take it to court who have the gravitas to back it and run through to the end. If I take it to court, I don't think it will go very far. I'm just saying. Lawrence Friday says, consumers decry new petrol tax after subsidy removal as law begins January 2026. Surcharge, that's a new way. I don't understand this headline, please. There is a surcharge. You know that government want to be collecting 5% petrol surcharge. And they are looking at getting about 796 billion naira annually from the surcharge if they go through with it. So that's what the marketers are reacting to. 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0007. You can also call 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. That is the number to call this morning to join the conversation and make your contributions and react to any of the headlines. I go over the numbers again: 0817-923-0002 or 0817-923-0007. Just tell us your name and where you're calling from, and then you go straight to the point. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ifemi.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Chimatik. I'm calling from Mokuta.
Okay.
My mother used to say, a lazy carpenter always quarrel with his tools. I do not even expect the research man to be wasting his time to come and see how he's going to explain to persons that are refused to be explained to or refuse to understand. Just like what you said, I want to take exception to that. Even if the body has been dissolved, it lies for the new appointed body to begin to see whether he wants to dissolve those amenities or those apparatus that was set by the other body. Just like when the research came, you don't forget that other commissioners were still working. He was the one that was not started dissolving them on his own. They were still working even when the governor was suspended.
No, the commissioners were not.
Yes, no, other bodies.
All the commissioners, all those that were appointed by the government after the crisis, were all automatically left office. Automatically, as soon as that judgment came, automatically it meant that whatever they did was nothing. So everybody had to leave. I remember that time. Now, you, Chima, you called me when I was interviewing the Commissioner for Information, and you were arguing that should he be talking here. You called me and you were arguing with him, and then we had to establish that no, the judgment does not cover him because he was screened by the assembly before the crisis. You called and said that time, so I don't know why you're forgetting now.
Hello, can you remember that he was dissolving some board members?
Every appointment that were made by the governor, and people were not happy with it. But the argument you also made, Chima, listen, when the dissolving was going on, you also still called me. And you said it is right because the Supreme Court has made a judgment. It meant everything that the governor did was illegal. So that's exactly why people are saying this one with RISIEC now. So how come it's not illegal now with RISIEC?
It's that one making you understand that you can decide to continue. You can decide it's on your own discretion. So to me, the election we hold.
All right.
As part of the NMPCL, Mr. Jamie, I have always made you understand in this your studio that allowing one person to come and monopolize our system here is bad. And if you look into your news, one of the maybe you didn't read it, that Abuja has been approved for UPE whatever grant. All this thing is being made because of one person. My brother MVK. Now, if you look at NMPC, I have always explained here that federal government to share, they can bring that refinery under the watch of Nyesom Wike. He's a paragon. The man has never taken a regret in anything that he's doing. Because we should not be crying on one thing, and we have somebody that shows so much capacity in building structures.
All right.
Of Labour Party. I want to make you understand something. If Labour Party has made you understand that they are the portion of the government that they don't want to dethrone Tinubu, it's a right choice in the right direction. Because it is, yes, if you want to be a resilient in what you're doing, it's okay about P2B, but making it diabolic, that is what will be to call evil.
All right.
Part of the Eastern nation has said in this Nigeria.
Chima, thank you very much. We have to get on to other callers. We get your point. Thank you, but we have to go to other callers now. 08. I also wanted, I thought you would have responded to what Mahmoud Yakubu said about the timetable in Rivers State. Unfortunately, you didn't. 0817-923-0007. You can also call 0817-923-0002. I had told us here before, if there was a problem with what the RISIEC is doing, the first people that should complain would be the political parties. As it stands, does it look like any of the political parties are angry, upset, complaining, going to court, saying otherwise? It doesn't look that way. So, I think there lies the answer you seek. Nigeria Info, good morning.
Good morning, it's Andrew.
Yeah, good morning.
Just calling for you, go on.
All right, go on.
let me start from that very last statement from, if you may, Andrew. The people who want to partake or participate, are they crying that all political parties, including the authentic APC chairman, Sir Shifton Okosha of APC, River State, that the national recognizes, everybody has agreed that just two or one political party that are arguing of chairmanship position, that one is left to them. It is an internal matter. So if the bodies that want to participate are ready to go on with these elections, then who are you to be crying foul? Whether Mahmoud is complaining, it is neither here nor there. Because as far as I'm concerned, the people that they deserve, people should go and read that Supreme Court judgment. I don't know why people are reading judgment as if they are reading newspaper. It is not about the reset chairman as a then. It was the action that he took. He refused to follow guidelines. Supreme Court never sacked him as a person because it was the authentic speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly that screened him. And the governor, as a them, swore this man in. So anything they are talking about Supreme Court, I don't believe those trash as far as I'm concerned. Supreme Court never sacked that man. It was the very man that is in charge today that dissolved that body. But the pronouncement that the election will take place from today till tomorrow till next tomorrow stands. What are they saying? The Supreme Court sacking.
Okay.
They should go and bring the judgment. Let's read.
All right. Thank you very much, Gift. Because of the time, I wanted to ask you if the Supreme Court also sacked the commissioners. But I think that would take a lot of time because the Supreme Court also didn't. So the point is, let's just understand the arguments from both sides. And that's what my job is to put the arguments of both sides out there. And both sides are on their rights from the arguments. The only thing that would decide where to lean on would be what the law says. And that would only happen if somebody goes to court and then a judgment comes that says, no, this is what the law says, this is wrong, this is right. That's how you settle it. Until that happens, that's why I said the political parties are there. If nobody is contesting it, good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, go on.
I'm from River State. I play politics since 1999. I've never seen any other man from another state to come and conduct elections.
There's a first time for everything.
Found it hard. If the election is false, you're following that way. I know when you left office, Kalada will come and sit down there. Kalada will not answer your name. Kalada will answer his name. I want to use March to compare this year, August. I didn't say spelling. If somebody is false, you're following that person. And I next time has said 21 days is bad. 90 days notice so that people can campaign. When is the time for campaign? When will they campaign? When is the time for primary? I've never heard people said anything. My brother, bad is bad.
All right.
And state of emergency in River State, you want to conduct election. Then INEC cannot conduct by-election in River State because of emergency. They have to settle this not to conduct election. The recent man, I believe, want to go with our Monday guys conducting election. Want to go with River's money. Anything wants to happen,
I think that would be unfair now to say that the man wants to go on with River State money. The man did not screen himself and appoint himself.
No problem.
All right, Ida. The man did not screen himself or appoint himself, so it would be unfair to just say that he wants to go on with River State money. However, with regards to the timetable, what date was there? Was it March or was it July? Because I heard July 28th. That was the date. So if they are referring to what was done by the old, the dissolved RISEC body, then shouldn't the dates carry what was initially announced by those people as where it starts? And then perhaps where it will end will be August 30 on the election day. Why is it July 28? That is if it's July 28, because from what I saw, except I am wrong. So that's also something that could cause people to raise eyebrows and ask questions. Nigeria Info, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning, sir.
Yep, good morning to you.
Yes, Mrs. Uche, I'm calling from the state.
All right, go on.
I am concerned about the nurses at University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital joining nationwide strike. When you listen to their complaints or requests, That is what government, both at the federal level and state level, can be able to afford.
Sorry, let me just add this before you go on. Remember that this is why people were complaining about the amount of money that was given to the Super Falcons. Not because it is bad, but because they feel like, see all these problems. Why are we not solving them?
Can I go ahead?
Now go ahead. I don't put you for tight corner.
So I want to add by saying, if we can borrow to attend to other issues, to concentrate on in other areas, we can also borrow if at all there is no money, because we are talking about health issue here. Now, person where they healthy, now in the chop live. So you can see that the patients at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital are crying. They've not been attended to for complete 24 hours. Nigeria has gone beyond standing by watching the nurses go on strike or the doctors go on strike. If we sing for a native song, nobody go dance them. So I am calling on the government, both at the state level, both at the federal level, please rise on occasion. We are talking about health here. We are not talking about politics. Do something to ensuring that the needs, what will be their needs? Add this one, add the other one, uniform and all that. Is there enough reason for them to go back on strike? And government has kept mood watching. It's unfortunate. Then, Port Harcourt refinery, not for sale. NAMPCL, you can imagine. According to my brother Tempo Abracadabra, it is in this state we are hearing a breaking news. Oh, it has commenced loading. Oh, it has commenced session. All the grammars we are hearing. At the end of the day, it was another thing. Nigeria, my country.
I told you now, forward. But remember I told you that time. Good morning. I told you that time we're still here. We hope that it works out good. Anyways, we hope that it works out good. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning.
Yep.
My name is Susie. I'm calling from Erema.
Okay, Susie, go on.
It's important that we understand there is no how in politics we're not going to have this argument. There has never been any trajectory or school of thought that agree with the previous or even the recent. So if anybody is raising an eyebrow to what RESEC have done, Andrew, if you also want to put forward this argument to the fact that Supreme Court dissolved all structures as provided by the suspended governor, why do we still complain that IBAD came in and also suspended or dissolved elected or appointed executives of the state?
That's the point, Susie. People complain, yes, but they have to accept the complaint, because when they complain, the response they got was that this was being done based on what you understand.
This argument that the complaints and the cry and hue will not stop, it will not end, but does not also suspend the process from going on. The RESEC have come up with their own argument, even their legal luminaries and all of that. I said it yesterday, that they've already consulted, from my own assumption, lawyers that knows how this law works.
RESEC has a legal department, so of course.
The election is going on, and those who will cry will continue to cry. Thank you very much.
All right, Susie, thank you. Just to say, it's not that people don't want the election. I think I understand the people that have this argument, what their point is. And what they're only saying is, when we complain that, oh, why is the SOLAD dissolving this? Why are they sacking this? These people were constitutionally appointed and screened and everything, so on and so forth. The response that yourself and some others gave back to these people was, because of that Supreme Court judgment, everything that was done like this, like that, has become null and void, has been done in error, blah, 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 the election and so on. So the only argument I think for these people is, now that this is happening, they're also asking, but you complained to us when we complained and told us that this was what it is. How come that same thing is not applying in this case? I think that's where the bone of contention is. But like I said, the political parties involved in it, they are part of it. If there's anybody that should be the first to complain, it should be those political parties. So if they haven't, well, They say count your teeth with your tongue, yeah? Good morning. Let's take a commercial now. Business news comes up at 7 o'clock. Good morning.
All is on.